Now, the brazen prison escape of convicted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester is not a complete story without the involvement of his lover, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. The popular aesthetics doctor is alleged to have facilitated Bester's prison escape from outside. Much like her life, her fall from grace was public, and now she's behind bars, leaving her children to spend Christmas without their mother. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi takes a look at Magudumana's involvement in the Thabo Bester case.
If you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. This famous Mark Anthony quote is what inspired Dr. Nandipha Magudumana to pursue a career in medical aesthetics. This is the opening line of the Mail and Guardian's write-up in their annual feature celebrating 200 young South Africans doing incredible work in South Africa back in 2018. It's just among the accolades, TV and radio interviews that Dr. Magudumana received in recognition of her work. A successful business owner who has treated some of South Africa's A-listers.
I completed my degree in Bachelor of Health Sciences and Biomedical Sciences.
It was all gold and glittery until the day online publication Ground Up blew the lid, revealing startling allegations of one of South Africa's biggest prison escapes that left the government admitting that it was embarrassed. The celebrated Dr. Nandipha Magudumana was right at the center of it, fingered as an alleged mastermind who assisted a murderer and rapist, Thabo Bester, serving life behind bars to escape from prison. The allegations read like a secret life that never made it to the perfectly curated social media content on her platforms. Social media users were shocked with the story topping the trends lists. Police would later reveal that they were looking for escaped prisoner Thabo Bester and what had now been known as his lover, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. News reports revealed how the pair had vacated their rented mansion and were on the run. It was in April when news broke that the pair had been nabbed in Tanzania. Their dramatic return to South Africa topped news headlines. The disgraced celebrity doctor, flanked by heavily armed police, was taken to the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, where a packed courtroom witnessed her first appearance. Covered in a hoodie and a mask and seemingly fatigued in the dark, Newzroom Afrika got a chance to speak to her.
Hey Nandi, how are you feeling? Are you okay?
Her first appearance was brief, and the postponement signaled that her next appearance would be made alongside her father, Zolile Sekeleni, who had also been charged for his alleged involvement in the escape.
I was 6 years old when I told my father that I want to be a doctor.
Now 34, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana shared the dock with her father, both facing charges related to Bester's prison escape.
But you're sitting next to your daughter. How does it feel?
For the first time since her arrest, Magudumana was also unmasked.
Itself must be satisfied that the person mentioned in the charge is in fact the accused before 40 years.
Amongst the charges Zolile Sekeleni was facing was the charge of murder, which was later withdrawn.
I said in the previous appearance that based on investigative process that is underway, we cannot rule out the possibility of more charges being added against the accused or any of the charges being withdrawn. We received more evidence, hence we have taken a decision that we are not going to proceed in respect of a charge of murder with regard to accused number 2. So that's one of the reasons why his schedule is now being downgraded to that of Schedule 1, and the decision was that we are not going to oppose his release on bail.
Murder is a Schedule 6 offence that places the onus on the accused to show exceptional circumstances which permit his release on bail. But without this charge, the state remained with Schedule 1 offences, paving the way for Sekeleni to be granted bail.
Accused number 2, you are in custody. You are admitted to a bail of 10,000 rands on conditions that you report yourself once in a week at Port Edward Police Station any time of the week, between 8 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. You may not leave the magisterial district of Port Edward without having reported yourself to Colonel Flyman. And you are also ordered not to contact, directly or indirectly, the state witnesses.
Sekeleni is alleged to have driven a vehicle rented by Magudumana to Bloemfontein. This car is said to have been used to transport the body used as a decoy into the Mangaung prison through the help of G4S employees, where it was set alight to secure Bester's escape. This body was allegedly claimed by Magudumana. Its relatives were unknown until DNA tests confirmed that it was the body of Katlego Bereng, a staunch Bloemfontein Celtic supporter and father of 2.
You must fight, my son, you must fight. You must fight to Sabaroba. You must fight.
According to the state, after Bereng's body was set alight at the Mangaung prison, Magudumana moved to claim it in order to cremate it. Police confiscated it after a woman claimed to be the mother of Thabo Bester. This prompted Magudumana to approach the Pretoria High Court on an urgent basis to have the body released to her and to have the court declare her to be Bester's customary wife. It is further alleged that Sekeleni deposed a supporting affidavit in this application, confirming that lobola was paid for Magudumana by Bester, who was in prison at the time. Magudumana was already married to someone else and had children with them. Dr. Magudumana reserved her right to apply for bail and first launched an application to have her arrest in Tanzania declared unlawful. She told the court she was abducted by police in what was an extradition disguised as a deportation.
The police, an 8-member team, who in their words deliberated with the Tanzanian officials as to the way forward. That was on the 10th of April. On the 12th of April, perhaps I should just turn to the words right now. What happened on the 12th of April, and I'll turn to 2 paragraphs on the papers. Mr. Matthews tells the court, on page 172, paragraph 28, Mr. Matthews says the following words. Mr. Matthews, your lordship will recall, is the Chief Director, Inspectorate, Immigration Services in the Department of Home Affairs. He says, I'm advised that as a matter of international law, an agreement was reached between the Tanzanian authorities and the South African High Commission regarding the deportation.
But the Home Affairs Department was adamant that it had followed proper procedure.
Sinister about the fact that there is cooperation between the South African Department of Home Affairs and that of the Tanzanian government. The agreement, and I will refer your lordship to Article 5. It's under the heading Combating Illegal Migration. It says the parties, the 2 governments, shall take measures to combat illegal migration and cooperate with regards to deportation processes and procedures.
The judgment in this application saw Magudumana score a point, with the court agreeing with her that the authorities broke international law by engaging in an extradition disguised as a deportation, but ruled in favor of the state on the basis that she had consented to be brought to South Africa.
In the present case, I have no hesitation in finding that the applicant was well aware at the time of her handing over of the charges that could be leveled against her upon her arrival in South Africa. She nevertheless consented to her removal from Tanzania to South Africa because she wanted to be with her children. At the very least, she had willingly acquiesced to her transportation back to South Africa.
This fight is now at the Supreme Court of Appeal, which granted her leave to appeal the High Court ruling. Magudumana is arguing that she couldn't have consented to an illegality. After 4 months of not seeing Bester, the pair for the first time were reunited in a loved-up court appearance in the dock. But love wasn't so much in the air when Magudumana went back to court in another bid to fight for her freedom through a bail application, claiming Bester forced her out of the country.
About the 17th of March 2023, I was in company of accused number 5. 8.2, I was instructed and commanded by accused number 5 to get into a vehicle and leave the premises to a destination unknown to me at the time. 8.3, I refused and wanted an explanation, but he forced me into a vehicle. 8.4, I succumbed to the pressure due to the threats he directed at me. 8.5, I was defenseless, helpless, and with no one to report to at that time. 8.6, I complied with his instructions and was taken out of the country against my will.
Sobbing, Magudumana told the court that although separated from her husband, she remained a married woman with 2 minor children.
2 minor children, girls aged 11 and 6 years respectively. My 11-year-old is at grade 5, while 6-year-old is at grade 1.
The state hit back, saying Magudumana left the country with 2 other passports belonging to someone else and that she deceived the owner into handing them to her. It also responded to the submissions about her family ties.
The applicant deserted the children since March 2023. She decided to elope with accused 5, while since established from correctional services that the applicant was never visited by her husband and children since her arrest and detention. It has also been established from the telephone register that there was only 1 telephone call to the husband.
Bail was denied.
Allowing the applicant to go out on bail will enable her to, yet again, try to facilitate another escape if she wants to. If one looks at the evidence that the state has, the applicant was the main role player in facilitating the escape of case number 5. If she's out on bail, nothing will stand in her way. She will have access to all the necessary information and people to facilitate another escape.
Her bail appeal in the High Court in Bloemfontein was also denied. All the accused made their last appearance for the year in November without Magudumana, who collapsed after falling ill. This would have been the first time she saw Bester after turning on him during her bail application, but it wouldn't be due to ill health. The matter was postponed while she was in the courts holding cells. A pre-trial conference will be held on the 21st of February 2024. This is where admissions and other issues will be ironed out after the state handed over copies of the docket containing evidence it intends to use against the accused in the trial. Magudumana will spend Christmas behind bars, away from her 2 minor children. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Mnisi in Bloemfontein.